everybody. Good morning. So I am doing live kind of randomly, but you can say also maybe not so randomly. So yeah, it's been a year and 2 years of intense work, like internal work with myself, tons and tons and tons of awareness, like tons and tons and tons of self-awareness and tons and tons and tons of healing. And the type of healing that I was doing, it wasn't so much that, okay, let's just focus on the positive, let's just kind of like try to change the patterns by force. It was kind of like a really sinking in deep in a very, very root, in a very, very, very core of basically causation of imbalance that was coming up to be cleared. So first of all, I think what we have experienced in the last couple of years is a collective experience. So I understand that I'm not unique in that sense. And it's been difficult for lots of people. But it was not only difficult, it was also good. It probably, like, it depends on where you are in the world and what you do. It could be that, okay, it was more of the bad rather than the good. But to me personally, it was both. I was also kind of like coming to terms with my authenticity and my real desires. So for example, one of them, like I did mood diary for 100 days. I wanted to commit to something and do that thing, and I wanted to fulfill my commitment. And then after that, I did the mood diary, which was in the form of hair diary, also sharing my moods at the same time. But it was kind of like more of stepping out in this space of being seen, and being seen speaking, being seen when you are sharing something, and being vulnerable. So if we were 100% like confident, if we were like 100% assured of ourselves, it wouldn't be really hard, you know, to kind of like a step up on any platform and start talking, start sharing, start saying what we feel, what we think. It would be pretty easy. And I think part of the learning for all of us who want to start to express ourselves in whatever form, for me it is speaking, for you it could be something else, but any kind of like a self-expression, there is a courage that is needed to do that. So for me, it was, okay, oh my God, I'm being seen. I'm filming video and then I'm putting myself there. And I used to act. I used to be in a acting, like in a theater. I wanted to be an actress. But I think the reason why I wanted to be actress is because I had so many unsuppressed aspects of myself, and there were so many layers of my authentic truth that I could not express through the personality that I have formed. So what authenticity, or kind of like a falling into experiencing the crisis and falling into authenticity done to me is, it helped me to express all of these suppressed aspects without having to be in a role or on a stage. Like, I can only be angry if I'm a character of some angry villain. I can only be great if I am in a role of some queen or a hero. So the authenticity helped me to express all of those things just being myself, just kind of like saying, okay, well, this is truth, this is my truth, this is who I am. And for example, me being kind, being polite, it's my truth, because I do value people who are kind, who are polite, who are considerate towards other people. But there is another aspect, which is I'm also angry, I'm also disappointed, I'm also hurt, and I also want to kind of like not care. I actually want to isolate in my own bubble. I actually want to care only about me for once, and not to really be so concerned what other people are thinking. So this is also truth for me. So especially, like they say, if you if you really want to know your spiritual development, and if you really want to know how far or how, let's say, strong you are, you first you get yourself into relationship too. You go back to your birth family to check in. So because while you are single, it's just you. Sometimes you might not to be single because you want to kind of somehow fill the gap, the emptiness, or seek something outside yourself to fulfill you. Nothing's wrong with that, but it's just that often it is used like, I need someone else because I don't feel good enough otherwise. It's fine to go and find someone else, but it's just that the reason for it is not the best reason. So yeah, so I was single for many years with very short relationships, and just before the whole pandemic, late in 2019, I found my partner, my current partner. And because the circumstances of, like all the isolation and lockdown were pushing upon us, like it was not ideal for dating, especially at the beginning of relationship, few months in relationship, there was a decision that we needed to take. It's like, do we just move in together and continue this relationship in the lockdown? So that's what has happened to me in 2020. And so part of my development was because I became, after a long time of searching, I became match of actually being in long-term, stable, committed relationship. So it's been more than 2 years now. That's the longest relationship in all of my life. I mean, romantic relationship. And it is challenging when you come together with another person, and then you are at the place where you understand you can't just blame other people. There is part of their responsibility, but whatever is happening in relationship is also your responsibility. So I was kind of like, in the last couple of years, especially in 2020, it's been intense period of reviewing like all the beliefs, my behavior, my character, what I thought was right, what I thought was right way of doing things, how I learned to expand my perspective to understand, from my side, this is truth, but from his side, this is truth. I feel this in that situation, and I act like that. When I act like that, for example, I act angry or hurt, he feels also the same from a different perspective. And it was intense, kind of like a workshop. You can say 2 years workshop. First year of intense workshop, second year of less intense workshop, but it's always kind of like overall benefit. It's like there are some benefits in being single, and there are some benefits in being in relationship. So if your benefits, like being single, outweighs the benefits of being in a relationship, you're going to be single. And what are those benefits? For example, if you are not willing to see some hard truths about yourself. Like, for example, okay, let's say one issue that I had for a long time was a commitment issue. I thought, oh, I just cannot find anyone that I want to be with. But what was actually happening was the issue of I cannot commit because I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be trapped in pain, because if I'm going to commit, that means I just have to experience pain and I cannot do anything about it. So I think for many people, the reason of, let's say, not willing to commit is the same. Or kind of similar, could be different, but just wanted to share my personal one. But basically, what then has to happen at some point, you kind of like see that, oh, so some problems that are in a relationship is because I still have some of that commitment issue, like commitment even to myself, like commitment to the fact that I trust myself enough to be able to handle issues when things become difficult, or I commit to myself and I'm truth to myself enough to know that if the time will come to stand by your inherent authenticity and your integrity or compromise, you're going to stand by what is important for you and what you believe by. So so that is another kind of like a layer on, let's say, commitment issue or feeling safe to commit. So all of these things were happening in the last couple of years, and at the same time I've been building my business, wanting to kind of become fully independent in like a fully functional 100% supportive business model. So personally, in 2020 and 2021, the fact that everything moved, working from home, being online was actually very helpful for me. So that's the positive. And I've been doing one-on-one sessions with people, group sessions. I've been doing amazing healing technique certification, which is not created by me, it's created by Yvette Rose, but it's really mind-opening and powerful and multifunctional. So I've been doing all of these things that I learned and I trained myself, but there was another thing that I decided to do, which was a year ago. I decided to kind of like start to build something of my own, start to kind of like create something on my own, like based on all the knowledge, all the experience, all the intuitive insights that I get, to start creating something that is done by me. And it's done by me because I feel that that thing is especially important. So it all started with womb healing sessions, especially with the group womb healing sessions. I had phenomenally positive feedback about the group session, and also like talking about femininity, talking about womb healing, the wounding from our mother. And I came to decision that what I need to do, actually, I need to kind of like start to create something from my heart. I could base it on some things that I know. I can pull one thing from there, pull another thing from there, and put it all together and come like kind of create my own little world, create my own little figure, create my own little kind of like a sculpture or like a being or essence or a thought form, some kind of like a field. And it was basically, it only happened in the last few months when I actually decided also that I perhaps need professional business coaching in addition to like all the other support that I've been getting. And getting support is real. Let me tell you, like getting support is real important. If you feel it is difficult for you to cope with things, I recommend, getting counselor, getting psychologist, getting shaman, getting Reiki practitioner, getting massagist, anyone, anyone that is up your street, just to kind of like have this ongoing support network that you can practically create for yourself, or even kind of sign up in some groups. So because I couldn't, like, I think for me it was a little bit scary idea to just, like start doing something by my own. Like, oh my God, who am I to start to build something or start to create some program? Who am I to do that? But on the other hand, then the other question is, who am I not to do that? So also this is question for you. Who are you not to do what you want to do? Why are you so special that you shouldn't do what you dream to do? We people, we should do what we dream to do. So yeah, so that's the big question mark. So do it. And what I did, I created a program called Radiant Womb Woman, because I realized that one of the reasons for imbalances in my life, and especially, I guess, in many women's life who have either a similar background like me, but I think it's just a collective thing. I think it's applicable to many, many women, is not being able to use our healthy feminine energy, because we are like Ferraris trying to do a job of tank. You know what I mean? So many women, many females, many. So I will talk about men separately, but and also I just want to mention that I pay all the respect for any type of identities in between, but this is about the actual feminine energy and for those people who identify as women. So as women, we, being born in this time, we unfortunately, or fortunately, so unfortunately we are born with lots of unhealthy patterns from our mothers, our grandmothers, and also society, like lots of pressures from all the sides that would say, oh, okay, if you want to be a beautiful, healthy, successful woman, so you need to look like this, dress like that, talk like that, have this husband, have those kids, have this job, maybe your own business, then probably you need to also have a amazing social media. Then you also need to meet all of your friends, call your mom, your dad, your cousins every week, many times, make sure that everything else is done, house is clean, you probably cook your own meals. So this is kind of like a crazy, insane level of demand on the things that we are expected to do, and we ourselves expect from us to do, because this has been something that we were recorded in our mind, in our like a field of expectations. So it's the pressure that has been created. Expectation creates pressure, especially if the expectation is pretty high. If the expectation is very low, there is no pressure. So if the expectation would be for you to be a woman, successful woman, all you need to do is sleep, wake up, eat some food, and then, I don't know, like plant a flower or two and bake a cake once in 3 months. That would be fine, like almost no pressure. You know what I'm saying? But now, because we have so many different expectations, we have so many kind of things that we are supposed to be able to do, otherwise we somehow are losers or something is wrong with us. It's impossible. It's like the only person who can do that is someone who's on drugs. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying is the level of pressure is so insane that either you are a robot running on a nuclear power or you have to take some substances. Otherwise, it's not possible to do all of that. So what I have created a program called Radiant Womb Woman, and it was not to go into wishy-washy and just float with the fairies and to kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna be feminine, I'm gonna connect with my feminine energy. It's about really kind of like bringing the energy that it is natural for us into our lives to help us in a practical way. So how would aligned feminine energy help us in a practical way? We would not even take on of those expectations that are being put on us. It would be like, okay, well, you expect me to do this and this and this and this and this. Well, good luck for you. What I expect from myself to do is actually this and this. And if I do this and this, I'm great. I feel good about myself as a woman because those two things are important to me. And who says that those two things are important to me? I say. And how do I know? How do I know if they're really, really important to me? Is by connecting with my inner truth, kind of like a searching my heart, searching like through my value systems, establishing what are the essential things for me, and saying those are the things that are important to me. Those are those two things that I want to do. And if I've done those two things, I am happy with myself as a woman. And everything else I can or I may not do, depending if I choose to or not. But I'm not going to exhaust myself to being a shell of a woman, to not having any kind of like a vital force coming through me, just because you and you and you and you ancestors and you society and you friend circles and you work colleagues and you other group of mothers and you the magazine and you Instagram expect that from me. So yeah, so in this program, basically, what I actually found for myself, one thing that I completely have not tapped, have not seen, and have not used before is we don't need to imagine, like we don't need to try to be someone else. We don't need to try to be someone else. All we need to do is to connect to that very kind of like a innermost authentic self, which is truly us. So it's not the external personality, it's not the coping mechanisms, it's not the good girl, it's not the nice girl, it's not the superwoman, it's not the super daughter, it's not the super lover, it's not the seductress, it's not the celebrity. Is that inner self, inner woman, inner girl, inner mother, inner queen, inner goddess, that really essential quality of womanhood, which is 100% authentic to us. And then we don't need to pretend to be anyone else. once we connect to that essential quality of being a woman, which is unique for us, everything else falls away. We understand, okay, all types of women exist, all types of skills that women have exist, all type of things out there exist that women do. Women can be astronauts, women could be rock climbers, women could be models, women could be engineers, women could be scientists, women could be like anyone. But to me, personally, uniquely, I want to be this kind of woman, which is the kind of woman I am. How do we find out that? So in the program, I kind of like a take through, it's a few weeks program, but I think I'm just going to put it as the e-course. And then if anybody will want to have a like a group session, I think I'm going to set up a group support going on as well, kind of like in the background. So but basically the point is, how do we connect to that nature, to that essence? We have our womb, and our womb is extremely unique. Is the same, you can say is the same, every woman has a womb or had a womb, but it's the same unique thing as fingerprint on every single human being. So because this is unique, the womb contains the energy that is uniquely feminine. There is no other organ that is unique to woman but the womb. Why do we have womb and men don't have womb? Because we are women. And when a man don't have womb, women have womb. And if we have womb, what does it say? This is something that differentiates us from the other gender. And this is something that is kind of installed and given to us. And this is where we have access to the, let's say, divine universal femininity, but this is our unique access, unique filter, unique portal to connect to that. So when we connect to our womb, essence of our womb, and of course everything has to be connected like with our heart as well, because that's our emotional center, we get to discover what is our unique brand of femininity. So this basically, that's what the Radiant Womb Woman course is about. But I will be talking about femininity in general and uniquely for how it looks like uniquely for each of us anyways. But I guess my point and my message is, I think Einstein or someone said something that sounded a bit like, the more native or more indigenous I become, the more authentic I become. So it's almost like, for us to be authentic, we don't need to be strange. We don't need to be kind of like try to be different. All we need to do is to kind of like connect with our realness, with our authenticity, and basically that comes not through there, but through the roots, through the self, through our centers, through our origin, through our ancestry. And that's how we get to access that. So I think for many of us who are women, especially, for many people anyways, but for women especially, I think part of our authenticity is understanding what is to be a woman to us. How does the healthy version of being a woman looks like? So not what the magazine tells us how the healthy woman should look like, but how if I am a healthy, brilliant woman, how do I look like to myself? Not thinking about, again, expectations, but how do I feel good, optimal, and fulfilled as a woman? So yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to share with you today. I will also be starting to do, I think I'm just going to do short videos as well. I think I'm going to do mood diary. I don't know if it's going to be on a daily basis, but maybe it will be just as a vlog, because I got really good feedback about valuable about my, let's say, mood diary being valuable, about me sharing my authentic experience being valuable and helping people to go through stuff. So I think I might do that again, because sometimes, you know, like if you do something and you don't see much of a feedback, you cannot really understand if it's something that is helping people or not. So when I hear that feedback, then I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I enjoy doing it. I'm going to continue doing that. So yeah, so this was one of my big projects. Smaller project is to continue to do those little videos, and then I will also be doing workshops. I think I will be doing short workshops. I'm just going to test out what is useful, what is needed, what works. So small workshops, like for example, 1 to 2 hours one-off workshop on a specific topic, for example, anxiety, for example, creativity, for example, confidence, and then start building on that. I think I'm just going to do it like that, rather than embarking on a huge project without getting feedback from you. So that's me today. That's where I am. Also, I just wanted to share, if you have been experiencing extreme fatigue, tiredness, exhaustion, depression in the last week or so, you are not on your own. Me and lots of other dear colleagues of mine in the field of spirituality, emotional well-being have been feeling that very, very strongly. So there is a collective pressure that has been ongoing, but this is kind of like dissipating now, and it will continue to dissipate. It's not going to go completely off, but some, let's say, planetary aspects are affecting that, and the collective consciousness evolution, you know, the pressure that we're experiencing as collective from different countries, oppositions, is kind of like intensifying. And us, especially who are empathic, emotional people, we feel it, sensitive people, we feel it probably more than anybody else. But don't get discouraged. Hold on in there. You're fine. You're good. We are good. We're going to go through this. Okay. So thank you very much for being with me and watching this. So this was not exactly your specific typical sale. Let me show you what I got. I think I may have, I may do that, like with the contents, what's in Radiant Woman. But I just wanted to kind of like talk, and talking is what I do, and be seen and share these feelings with you and share my experiences with you. So, you know, I don't just want to present some kind of like a polished face with perfect life. I also want to share with you that there are some struggles and challenges and learnings that are applicable to all of us. None of us are excluded, and it's sometimes hard, no matter how emotionally developed, aware, and advanced you are. So don't worry about it. You are fine. You are doing great. Whatever you're doing, if you are doing it, you're doing it great. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day or evening or morning, and I will see you next time. Have a beautiful Saturday. Yeah, today is Saturday in most of the countries.